Hi, class. In this module, I want to talk a little bit about our module 4, which is the myth of the model family. And the readings from this module are going to come from True Women and Real Men, Myths and of Gender. And it starts on page 457 in Rereading America. So you're going to be learning, continuing learning how to use MLA format and putting together a works cited page, and of course writing an outline for your paper. So we're going to be looking at selections from the book about harmony at home, as well as the model family and gender role models, because this unit kind of encompasses a lot of things. And I want you to think about a few things. And here's what I want you to think about. Even though women have made great strides in society, are we still, are they still, or are we still as a society as a whole living a patriarchal society? So I want you to think about this as you're reading the readings in True Women and Real Men, all the essays that are in there. And I want you to think about, even though women today do work and they do have an equal opportunities, is it still very superficial in the sense that what's expected of women in the home and the roles, even though we don't look like the 1950s anymore, um, are there still patriarchal roles set in place in the home, and where the woman not only now goes out and works, but she comes home and she takes care of a home, and she's responsible for cooking, doing the dishes, and those kinds of chores that have been delegated for women. And also, as far as the media is concerned, are women still represented as body objects in the media? And are they still treated as objects like they were in the past because of what's considered quote unquote beautiful from a male perspective, about having a good body, a nice figure, a nice face, a nice clothing? So I want you to think about those things. Just some highlights from this unit. I'll go back to annotation in a little while, but just Stephanie Kuntz is going to be talking about family and gender roles. And I have some clips from 1950s shows, and I'd like you guys to take a look at. One of them is the Donna Reed show, which was a very popular show in the 1950s, and she represented the ideal woman of her era and the ideal mother. The next one is Leave It to Beaver. This was considered, again, an ideal representation of the American family, and the roles that the mother played. She did the cooking, the father went out of the home, and he took care of the house. It was a very patriarchal society image, perfect image of a family, considered ideal. So I have some things for you guys some images of like love versus what is realistically possible for a family. So we have couples and we have families, because people usually couple up to become a family later. And so I have some images of what is considered an ideal family, what is considered an ideal female from the 1950s perspective. So women were looked at, what I said earlier, they had to have a perfect figure, they had to look beautiful, they had to look nice. This is from the 1950s, but I want you to think about how do these ideas still exist, but with different clothing in today's era. And this was considered the ideal couple. And the idea about coupling up is so that people could eventually get married. And so that's why people date. They date to get to know each other, and then they can get married and they can have a family. And these are just some of the things that I want you to think about. Like, have we really changed as a society and as a whole in comparison to the past? So Jill Claiborne in her TED Talk talks about the images of women represented in the media. So I'd like you guys to take a look and think about her statements and what she says in relation to the readings in this unit. And also, I have a bunch of commercials here that I want you to look at and analyze. And they go from the 1950s all the way to present times. And they look at different gender roles. So I want you to think about those ideas. And have we really changed, or is it a superficial change? Like, we say we changed, but we really haven't changed. So superficial meaning it's not really a deep transformational change. It's just on the surface. It looks different. So I want you to think about this, and I want you to look at your essays in Rereading America. And the readings in these essays are very intense. So I want you guys to make sure that you're reading actively versus passively. So there's a page here that talks about active readers versus passive readers, and then how to read textbooks effectively. And so also in the next few pages after this, so I'm just going back through these pages. So you're going to be reading a lot of intense words, and you're going to be also exposed to words you may not know in this unit. So you can there's a KWL chart here. What I already know, what I want to know, what I've learned to make a chart. There's a link to how to put together the chart. I'd like you guys to take a look at that. And also to create a mind map, or how to make a revision notebook for your readings. And this is just a really good way to take notes of what you're reading. So I do expect you to take notes, and here's some strategies that you can use. So I have a lot of video links for you to take a look at during this unit, so you can access those before you start writing your essay. I'm sorry. So reading is a really important part of writing, and this unit will consist of many different facets. So the majority, all your reading is going to come from Rereading America, but you will have to do a little research for the essay. And so you will have to use articles from Chapter 5 in Rereading America for the essay. So it's right here. It's always at the overview page. And if you go to scroll down here to where it says Essay 3 Requirements. Okay, so I give you the requirements of what you need to do for the essay on this page, and what you need to do for the essay, and the next page explains the essay. And so I have put a review of the outline on how to create an outline for your essays when you turn it in, and also how to research articles on the library database for Pierce College website. So you always have to turn in your essays from research that you do on the Pierce College website. You do need to turn in an outline with your essay. I don't care in what order you turn it in, but you have to turn in all of those things. And when I ask for MLA format, it is implied that you put a works cited page with the paper. So here is the question for the essay. Although women have gained significant power over the last century, why does it appear that women's movements have made only superficial changes? Do we still live in a patriarchal society as a whole? And so you should define patriarchal and what it means in your paper as well. And there's some questions for you to think about. So that's going to be for this unit on Module 4. So anyways, you can get started now. Everything is open and ready for you to work on it.